Hello guys, I've wanted to do a video like this for a little while now, and I'm excited to show you a behind the scenes of how I make my Call of Duty videos on YouTube. Now I hope that some of the tips and strategies I use can help you guys if you decide to get into content creation for yourself. This isn't really a guide as such, but just an explanation of how I produce a video that goes onto my channel. I love making videos, and one thing I've always stuck by is that I only want to make videos that I would like to watch myself, which is why I go to the lengths I do making stuff like Easter egg guides. I know that a lot of people have complimented my videos in the past for going into more detail than other content creators because I prefer quality over quantity. So before I get into the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure you drop a like if you found this interesting. If you're trying to get into content creation yourself, I'd love to see what videos you've made and maybe learn something new for myself. So without further ado, the first part of this video is getting the content. If there's a new Easter egg added to Warzone, or maybe there's some kind of hot topic to talk about, then I'll try and just record a chunk of footage in-game that I can chop together. I've saved up loads of footage from past Easter eggs, so I can reference them again in future videos, which is quite helpful, rather than requiring me to go back and complete stuff over and over again, like the Bunker 11 Easter egg in Verdansk. Once I have the footage that I need, the next part is to get the thumbnail for the video made. Now, my thumbnails have evolved over the years, and I've started to get much better with making them, particularly adding in custom user interfaces. For example, the thumbnail that I made for my metro station Easter egg in Verdansk has this little departures board, which is something I designed myself. With stuff like this, it's really fun to hide little Easter eggs that most people probably won't notice. Like how the ricochet anti-cheat is cancelled, and the small ticket at the bottom telling people not to leave their bags unattended. Another example is the interface I made for this DMZ 2.0 video, which has a checkout page on the left hand side. It's kinda hard to see, but the promo code which gives you a $1 discount is actually StreamerLoot. There's loads of other little fun bits that I've hidden in other thumbnails too, so let me know in the comments if you found any more for yourself. Aside from making an interface to sit on the side of a video, the first thing I need to do is get a background for it. The way I do this is head into a game of Warzone and just switch weapons really quickly. I can then take a screenshot from the footage where my gun is off screen, and I can use that as the background. The second part of the process is to build a weapon in my loadout and then head into game and inspect the weapon. Now what I do is I go in front of a plain coloured wall so it's easy to cut out the inspect animation, and I just place it over the top of the background that I've taken. So I'll try and find some surfaces that contrast nicely to the weapon camo that I have, and once I've recorded the inspect animation a few times, I'll quit the game and save my footage. Moving on to the third and final part for thumbnails, I open up Affinity Designer, which is a bit like Photoshop, but it's a Mac only program and you only need to buy it once rather than having yet another subscription for something you really shouldn't have to. So now it's time to make the thumbnail and piece it all together. I like to try and turn up the vibrance on all of the layers to make it a bit more colourful so it stands out more. You do have to be careful that you don't overdo it, but because Verdansk is quite a dull place, it does help to turn it up a little bit. As you can see here, I've got a template which I use for all of my thumbnails, and it lets me save various different designs so I can use them in thumbnails later on that's much quicker. I used to just start from nothing every time I made a thumbnail, and it took me absolutely forever, and over time I managed to create a sort of quick start template which saves a ton of time. This part is trial and error as well. Sometimes I'll tweak things a bit if I'm not too happy with them, and it means keeping a template of everything lets me go back to something later and change it if I change my mind after looking at the finished thumbnail for a little bit. Next up in my process is writing my script and recording myself reading it back. Just like I'm doing right now. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. This is the most boring part of the process, but I write my scripts in my notes and then I just set up a voice recording to capture it all. I used to record each paragraph, but I learned that if I did any bad takes, I can just pause the recording and overwrite it again in case I make a mistake. It's a lot quicker, and it means I'm not juggling like 20 audio files. Once I've read the script through a couple of times and I'm happy with it, I'll read it aloud and record it and get the file ready for editing. Now I'm going completely off script here, but sometimes I mess things up and have to re-record bits, and it's really annoying, so hopefully this is a good take. If I leave this in, then you know it worked. All done. The second to last part of my video process is editing it all together. Now, I use Final Cut Pro, which I'd argue I'm still a beginner in, And all I do here is get my footage all together and any audio files I also have, and I just merge it together into one nice video. I mean, there's not really much else to say here. I edit the video to how I like it, and at the end I have a finished product, which is what you're watching right now. I do like to try and include some subtle transitions here and there, and maybe a map or two if I'm doing a complex Easter egg guide. I also make sure to include call to actions like the subscriber box, which is on your screen right now, reminding you to subscribe if you haven't already. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, if you get my drift. And then once I'm happy with it all, I'll stick some music under it and I'll watch it back. Now, once I've watched the final video and I'm happy with it, I'll export it and get it ready to upload to YouTube. The final part of this process is uploading and making sure I optimize the video as best I can so it appears well in search results, and as well as having a good title so people can see it easily and be tempted to click on it. I'll always make sure to watch my videos on YouTube once they're live just to double check that everything's all good. Luckily, I don't think I've uploaded anything that I've decided to change last minute for quite a while now, so I'm doing quite well. I try to take my time so I don't have to constantly revise stuff over and over again. And yeah, that's it really. There's no grand master plan for me creating videos, and as I always say, I make videos that I would want to watch myself. I like to make sure that I include lots of detail without making the video like 20 minutes long. I know there are some content creators out there that have a bit of a habit of making videos a little bit too longer than they need to be, but that's just not my thing. But anyway, thank you for watching guys. If you want to ask me any questions about the process, then feel free to in the comments. I'm always happy to help and share whatever tiny bits of knowledge I do have. I also want to thank my channel members for your amazing support on the channel, I really appreciate it, and whilst we're being super meta here, I'll give a specific shout out to all of my channel members. So thank you to Cupid, Dunes and Doug. Thank you for the support guys, you're absolute legends, and I really do appreciate everything you've done for me. And that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next normal Call of Duty video. Bye bye!